Let's take a few minutes and talk about how to turn trash into something useful. The trash that I'm speaking of is this thing right here. Now, I do have some stuff coming in for this, just a couple items, but I'm waiting for that. So this is the configuration it is in right now. It's a High Point 995 carbine, and it's the TS model. And this is pretty much the cheapest 9mm carbine that you can get. It's a 10 round capacity, and these things were pretty much made during the assault weapons ban way back when. I believe it was 1994 to 2004. And the idea when these first came out was High Point wanted to provide a platform for people that still had the 10 round capacity limit, and that could be used as somewhat kind of a cool little carbine to shoot. So very inexpensive to shoot and very inexpensive to own. I got this for extremely cheap, which is why I'm in it. So if you have one of these, what can you do to turn it from trash into something that's a little bit more useful? So there's several different ways that you can go about it. And I'm just going to show one. There's going to be other configurations of this particular 995 as time goes on. So the first thing, this particular model did have the vertical grip here, this folding vertical grip that kind of folds out and folds back. So I left it on here. I left it on here just for ergonomics sake. I don't plan on folding it out much. I plan on keeping it like this, but the reason I have this on there is almost a pseudo inexpensive hand stop. So I don't have to spend any money on a hand stop or anything. It's already there. You don't really need it though. As far as the compensator right here, muzzle brake, this was already on here. It's not really a need, but as I understand with these 995 carbines, when you put some type of muzzle brake on it, it tames it a little bit. These, they don't have much recoil, but you'll realize that they do have a little bit more recoil than a typical AR-15. That's because it's a blowback design. It's a very simple design, so you end up getting a little bit more pushback. I know High Point tried to solve it with this little deal right here, this basically shock absorber at the end of the stock, which I don't hate and I don't love, but it is what it is. This will help tame it just a little bit more. The newer models do have a threaded muzzle, so you can thread whatever you want on there. This is an older model. As far as the grip right here, the grip isn't bad. It's a little bit slick, but it's not too bad. I went ahead and just threw some tape on it. Call it good. Then it just feels nice and good. It's not super like grippy or tacky, but it just feels better in hand having that tape. For optics on this thing, these right here, I'm actually reviewing these, this red dot and this magnifier right here. So pretty inexpensive, but I have a thing when it comes to guns. It's kind of OCD. If it's a cheap setup, then it's going to have cheap optics. I'm not going to throw an ACOG on this, although I think it would be kind of funny to do for a video. I'm not going to throw an ACOG on something like this. It's just a cheap gun, so it's going to run either cheap optics or I'm just going to run iron sights. So the optics on here, it's a red dot with a magnifier. On something like this, why would that give it some, why would that make a difference? Well, this is still a 100 to 200 yard gun. A 9mm out of a 16-inch barrel has pretty decent velocity, and you could shoot out to 200 yards with it. You're still going to get some bullet drop, but having a red dot with a magnifier on it allows you to take advantage of that whole 200-yard length. Having an easy setup like this right here, this easily folds out of the way. It's not too extremely heavy. The gun stays decently balanced for what it is, and it just gives you a little bit more capability. And I think that's important because you want to give this thing the best chance it has because it only has the small 10-round magazines. So basically something like this, I think if you had a red dot with a magnifier on it, you might get the best value out of it. You could get an LPVO on here. That way you're going from 1 power up to 4 power or whatever. Another plus with this particular setup is I can take this magnifier off, and then now I just have more of a clean profile here with just the red dot. So you can do that as well. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can go about with this carbine. Just note that the rails are kind of picky. They're not exactly M1913 rails. But those are a few things that you can do to turn this from trash into a little bit of something more that you could do something with. Right here from High Point, these extra, the mag carrier right here that holds 2 extra 10-round magazines. It's not needed, but it did come with this when I got it. I did get this used, so I'm going to use it. These mags slide back and forth pretty easily, but they stay on. So not a bad deal right there. Gives you some extra rounds on hand. Certainly helps with this small 10-round capacity. The other thing you could do if you buy one of these, whether new or used, go through, make sure all the screws are tightened decent enough. Don't over tighten them because some of this polymer is really cheap and you don't want to strip things out. But tighten them up a little bit, go through, especially if it's used. And at the same time, give it a good cleaning, give it a good oiling. High Points like to be oiled up. So make sure to oil it up. The same thing, take care of your magazines. If you have magazines with them, kind of take a look at them, make sure that you keep them clean. The magazines tend to be the weak spot when it comes to all these High Point designs. I just have years of experience with this platform, especially with the pistols. Right here, you want to make sure this stays tight because this tends to come loose a little bit. So make sure this stays tight. Another thing too is don't hesitate if you want to get online and buy spare parts. I'm talking super like pennies. I mean, as far as if you want to compare it to standard parts you could get on an AR-15 or something, spare parts for this like the charging handle right here, extra firing pins, which are important because High Point firing pins tend to be a little bit soft and they can break over time. I'm not saying they will, but it is a possibility. Getting a few of those for just a couple bucks extra, I mean, that's worthwhile in my opinion. So there's just some things I think that you could do to take something like this from just a piece of trash, which the 995s are kind of trash, but they're a good trash. They still work, but there are some definite weaknesses to this. But there's a couple things you can do to kind of take it and make it a little bit more capable. This is just one configuration. There's a lot of different configurations out there. It's up to you on what you want to do, but this works for me. And I'm keeping it as limited as possible when it comes to spending. I do not want to spend much money on this at all. In fact, the only reason I have this optic and this um, magnifier right here is because I'm currently reviewing these. I'm looking these over and these were provided to me for review. I didn't have to spend money. So that's the only reason I have this on here. Otherwise, I would maybe just throw a set of irons, the High Point irons on there and just run that. So lights, you could do lights. I did have a light up here. I decided I might do something different here in the future. I don't know. But you can run lights up here like pistol lights. That does actually help the capability of this, especially if you're looking for something like this as a home defense gun. Now, between this and the High Point pistols for home defense, I would certainly suggest this. Typically, the carbines are more they're more reliable versus the pistols. Just overall, in my experience, the carbines are just more of a workhorse. So if you want something for home defense, you might as well get the velocity increase of the 16-inch barrel and go ahead and put a light and a sight on here and be good to go. So let me know what you guys think of the 995 carbine and what you can do, in your opinion, to make it a little bit better.